On this channel, we have made a dress of eyes, ties, magic dyes, and today we are going to be making a worm dress. But first, let's make some earrings. Much better. So my plan is to take this white bed sheet that I got from the thrift store and turn it into a little white flapper style dress that looks a little something like this, or this. Or a mix of all three. And then I'm going to take these worms and I'm going to use these as the fringe on the flapper dress. So without further ado, let's get wormin'. Now I have to pick all of these up. Ugh. I hope you all enjoyed that lovely worm ASMR, but now it is time to get back into the program. So after taking all of the worms out of the big bags, I had to take them out of their individual little plastic bags. This truly seems like such a waste of plastic, and I will never understand why the manufacturer did this, but it is what it is. If you intend to do this project, I'm just going to warn you right now, this is the most time-consuming part. Not actually putting the worms on the dress, but unpackaging the worms. It took so long. This is what the little worms look like before they come out of their little worm womb. Little worm wombs. Some of them are really squished and flat and sealed. Some of them are a little fluffier though. Just gotta be released. It must be birthed. The young worm squirms and wriggles its way out of its sac. Now it is off to find food. This is what a regular worm looks like. It's a fluffy, it's kind of thin. You can see its center sometimes. This is a regular worm, and this is a regular worm. This worm and this worm are not regular worms. Can you see that texture difference? They're curly worms. Also, this one is a cyclops. Look how curly they are. They're thick and puffbally. Once I was finished up with all the worm nonsense, it was time to actually sew the dress. The first thing I worked on was cutting out and sewing the bodice together, and then I proceeded to completely ignore this project for 3 years. All right, it's been a very long time, and here's the dress. It's stolen some of my pins. They're still in here, and I'd like to reclaim them back. And also, I'm pretty certain, let me put this on with the pins on the outside. Pretty certain this isn't gonna fit me. Let's see here. Oh yeah, very tight. Haha. Okay, so that's what happens when you gain 20 pounds. Things don't fit you anymore. So let's brainstorm some other ideas. It actually took me a really long time to brainstorm ideas, so here's some pretty worms. I don't have to have them laying one over the other and shingle them every other like this, but it does look really nice. I'm thinking maybe a bag would be really cool, and I have enough for a bag, so I think we're going to make a worm bag. Okay, so the bit on the left here is what it would look like if I made a bag. And I actually feel like there's a little too much overlap, and I don't like how dense the worms are. So I have more worms than I need to make a bag, so maybe I should make a dress or a skirt or something. Okay, I've finally decided we are indeed making a dress, because how fun will it be to twirl around and have like little worms spinning off of your body. I'm going to make a tube top type dress, so it's literally just going to be like a front and a back, and I'll be able to lift it on to get it on, and then I'll just be able to like slither out like a little worm to get it off. This material, which I got on super duper clearance, I got like this whole thing for like $4 or something. At a Walmart one time when they still sold by the yard. I was going to turn this into a color changing Sleeping Beauty dress, but I never actually ended up doing that. Anyway, let's make a worm on a string dress. This project was so overdue that I didn't really want to do anything complicated. I just wanted to finish it and check it off the list. So who cares if it's perfect? I'm just going to trace my body and sew it up. Okay, so I took the fabric, just sewed it up on each side, and this is what I've got. It's just, I need to cut this off. It's literally just a tube dress. It's really tight, but I don't have anything stretchier than this in my stash. I'm not buying fabric for this project, so we're going to take these worms, put them on that dress. These worms, that dress. That's it. Please don't come after me for worm abuse, but I did sew them onto the dress. I found that sewing was going to be a lot cleaner than using glue or a hot glue gun, and if I wanted to, I could cut off the worms later and use them in a different project. In a couple clips further down, I'll explain how I'm spacing out the worms, but basically I just spaced out the worms and I sewed back and forth, front stitch, back stitch to make sure they were secure a couple times, and then I moved on to the next one, never cutting off my string and just continuing. Okay, so I definitely made the right decision on still doing a fringy dress. Sorry, my clothes are underneath here, so it looks all funny, but look at this. Oh! Imagine that once I have all the layers on. So excited. All right, so to get my spacing correct, I've gone ahead and layered the worms on here, and I've just drawn a little mark where each of the noses of the worms will be sewing. And the really nice thing about this fabric, of course, is that there are lines, so I'll just follow that all along. I forgot, but I still need to cut off all the strings from the worms, so I need to do that too. Next up, we had the red worms, so I took all of those and I sewed them around the whole dress. The way I'm gonna show you guys every single layer as I complete it, I want to put it on and spin it in it, every single layer, but I don't want this project to take forever. And then it was time to add the orange layer of worms, and I literally just added these like I added the pink layer and the red layer. But I think that's enough sewing for this video, and it's not like this is a sewing channel, right? So let's skip it. Overall, I'm very happy with how this dress turned out, and I'm so glad I finally finished it. I might have been a bit off on the timeline earlier, so I'll go ahead and put that in the description. And I also have real record tracking, historically accurate posts and updates on my stories in my Instagram. I think it's under worm dress. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed finally finishing it. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and let me know if you're gonna make your own worm dress. We could have a whole worm army.